Plaintiff Adrian Chamberlain never had any children, but earlier this year he discovered the defendant may be his biological son. Adrian is devastated that he never knew about the defendant, but he petitioned the court for a DNA test and is hoping that it proves he is the defendant's father. Defendant Timothy Ellis was adopted at birth, and he was always curious about his biological family. Timothy is eager to find out the results of the DNA test and says if Adrian is proven to be his father, he would consider it a blessing.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
And I understand today we're here to determine whether you are Timothy's father. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that something you hope? Is that something you hope to be true, or?
Yes, I absolutely want it to be true.
So why are you looking so mad then? Why are you looking so mad? Why are you looking so mad? That's how they look when they go to child support. This ain't child support court. How old are you, sir?
I'm 37 years old.
37? Y'all got the same eyes and eyebrows. And you gonna come in here want a question. Let me hear some background on the case.
Well, Your Honor, first and foremost, I had no idea that I had a child. As far as I knew, I had no children, period. I was shocked, to say the least. In March of this year, I found out through my brother that my sister had gone on one of those DNA websites looking for close relatives. And doing so, she found out that I was a biological father of a son, which was news to me. This website also gave her the biological mother's name, who I remember from 1983, because we had a very brief one-night stand, went about our business, and she went off to college shortly after that.
All right, but I'm just giving you your props.
Oh.
You was able to get it the first night?
No.
I'm just saying, how did that happen? I know a lot of guys try that, and most of them fail. What did you do back in 83?
We had grown up in the same neighborhood. We were friends. And one night, we were talking on the phone, and she invited me over, and one thing led to another.
How old were you?
20. At that time, I was 21. I had the gift of gab back then.
On the first night?
First and only night.
All right, go ahead.
So I was not only surprised, but I was very, very upset at the possibility of this being true, because I had missed out on so much of Tim's life. And I'm trying not to get emotional right now thinking about that. But in short, I contacted her through social media. I gave her 2 opportunities to come clean, tell me the truth. She denied it both times. The second time said not only is it impossible that we had a child together, but she wanted nothing to do with any type of DNA testing. I was fortunate enough to get in touch with Timothy's sister, who gave me his number. I called him. We spoke briefly. He told me that he was given up for adoption at birth, was blessed to have a loving family, and was looking for his biological parents.
Let me go back a little and ask about his mom, his biological mom, whom you went and asked whether you all had a child, she had a child by you, and she said no?
Yes, she categorically denied it twice.
Okay, did you ask her whether she had a son at all?
She would not confirm or deny whether she had a son. And after speaking with him shortly, not only do I think he looks like me, but I think he sounds like me, he speaks like me, he has some of my mannerisms. I would be shocked if he wasn't my son, and I'd be proud to be able to say I'm his father.
Good. That's a great thing, and we hope that that is the case. And I understand today we're here to determine whether you are Timothy's father. Is that something you hope to be true, or?
Yes, I absolutely want it to be true.
So why are you looking so mad then? Why are you looking so mad? Why are you looking so mad? That's how they look when they go to child support.
Plaintiff Adrian Chamberlain never had any children, but earlier this year, he discovered the defendant may be his biological son, so he petitioned the court for a DNA test.
Why don't you give me some background, Timothy?
Yes, Your Honor. As Adrian stated, I was adopted at birth from a single mother who gave me an exceptional childhood to my peers, so I'm very thankful for that.
Is that the only mother you've known? You were adopted at birth, I'm told. Okay.
Correct. And when I got into my 20s, I started wondering, well, I always had a curiosity as to who my birth family was because I've always known I was adopted since I was able to understand. And in my early 20s, I did a search on the internet and I came across somebody who I believed to be my grandmother. And she later confirmed that she was, though she said that she wasn't interested in helping me to speak to my birth mother because it would devastate the family for the family to know that my mother had a child that no one knew about. It took me about 10 years after that in order to find out maybe a list of people who I could be related to. And I stumbled across a woman who I believe to be Adrian's half-sister. And I was able to connect with Adrian.
How did that go when you all first came together and talked? What were the circumstances? Give me that picture.
Well, Mr. Adrian called me up and said, hello, sir. My name's Adrian, and I may be your father. And he said he would be really excited about it. And of course, I would be excited about it as well. But the main issue is it's hard to get excited about it not having proof.
So tell me about your life growing up with your adopted parents, because we always like to give credit to people who have made a difference in the lives of others. So do you mind telling us about growing up and whatever else you feel comfortable in saying regarding your parents?
Yes, I grew up in a tough neighborhood. I'm from Rochester, New York originally, and I was raised by a single parent who I believed to be a saint. She taught me love and faith. I was raised with me and my sister, and we happened to have the same birthday, even though we were born in different years, and it was a pretty positive childhood. But it wasn't until I got to my adulthood in which I realized that there was some type of void that I was missing, and I couldn't quite figure it out. But after hearing that Adrian had no idea about me, it kind of made sense where that void was coming from. So I wasn't raised with around a male figure per se, but my mother did the best job she could, and I've been lucky. I consider myself lucky because my birth mother was in a situation where I could not have been here. There's other options other than giving birth, and I am here. And I'm here despite that side of the family not wanting to have much to do with me at this point. And so in spite of that, I'm definitely lucky. And so I know a lot of my peers I grew up with weren't as fortunate as me, so I could never be one to complain. If Adrian is my father, that would be a huge blessing, and I'd be, I'm very happy about that. But at this point, I still consider myself a lucky man regardless. Primarily
because you were able to grow up in a tough neighborhood without getting in trouble? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I grew up in a tough neighborhood. I would say. So you feel lucky not having gotten in trouble?
Is that part of why you feel that way?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Because I'm getting to a bigger point, and that is that it's shameful on society that we have to feel lucky that we overcame our circumstance and reality. It should be a normal part of everyone's life that they're able to live a life crime-free, jail-free, livable wages so you don't have to live poor in a poor neighborhood, quality schools, all that should be normal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So when you say you feel lucky about it, that says a lot about society. I'm just giving you your props.
Oh.
You was able to get it the first night?
No.
I'm just saying, how did that happen? I know a lot of guys try that and most of them fail. What did you do back in '83?
Plaintiff Adrian Chamberlain never had any children, but earlier this year, he discovered the defendant may be his biological son, so he petitioned the court for a DNA test.
I don't believe that the majority of society, their children, feel lucky when they don't go to jail, when they're not a victim of a crime, when they don't drop out of school because the school is failing them, when the many other things that can occur, drug addiction. I don't think they feel lucky. They just say this is how life is. And they think it's like that for everybody. And so that's the point I'm trying to make, young folks. You're not lucky when you make it out of the neighborhood that might be different from a privileged neighborhood or a middle or upper income neighborhood. You are someone who had to live an exceptional life instead of living a normal life. Normal lives, you don't have to worry about that. Only lives that are lived and raised in poverty and failing school systems and crime infested, which are a result of failing school systems and economic deprivation, are the only ones who have to say, I'm lucky that I made it out. You hear a lot of other folks from a lot of other communities having to say that? So, now I just want to stop you from saying that. Say you were strong enough to overcome the obstacles that society put in front of you. That's how you should look. Say, but you wish you didn't have to be that strong. You want to live a normal life. You know, black folks like to say, well, you have to work twice as hard but to succeed. And no, you don't. Well, you shouldn't have to. Why? That's what we're told, because of discrimination and holding you back, and you're not going to have the same opportunities, and you're not going to have those same good schools, so you have to work twice. I've never accepted that. I want to be regular. I want to work regular. I want to work the same amount as Doyle. I don't want to have to work twice as hard. I want to be able to get off after 8 or 10 hours. I don't want to have to work 14 hours when everybody else is working 10 just because I might be discriminated against or held back. So I have to overprove myself. No, just let me work regular. So you're not lucky. You had to overcome obstacles because society denies you the opportunity to be regular. All right, that my point is made, and we are proud of you. What are you doing with your life now? What did you do after high school?
Okay, after high school, I moved to New York City for 10 years and worked a bunch of different type of jobs. I worked in group homes. I've worked as a case aide. I've worked delivering groceries. And it wasn't until I moved back to Rochester when I realized I wanted to work for myself. And so I started my own moving company in the city, and I employ about 3 people part-time within my community in order to give back and also live independently as possible.
Good. Let me give you a hand.
Small business.
And I hope that you're able to borrow money from a bank to expand your business as rapidly as other communities are able to go in and borrow from the bank. And so continued success to you. And You felt a void, and perhaps now we can fill that void. Just interesting that you would feel a void and you didn't know. You think that was some type of, for lack of a better description, some type of energy or God, spirituality?
Yes, Your Honor. That's a great question because I kind of wondered that exact same thing myself. I am a spiritual person, and especially after speaking with Adrian, and when these results hopefully come in that he is my father, it will make sense because Adrian had no idea. And I always in the back of my head felt like not only do I need to know for myself, but something else was kind of calling me.
Okay, well, we're going to see whether your spirit is with the devil or with God. We're going to see who was talking to you, because the devil can trick people. He plays like God sometimes and trick you. Did you ask her whether she had a son at all?
She would not confirm or deny whether she had a son. And after speaking with him shortly, not only do I think he looks like me, but he speaks like me. He has some of my mannerisms. I would be shocked if he wasn't my son. And I'd be proud to be able to say I'm his father.
Good.
Plaintiff Adrian Chamberlain never had any children, but earlier this year, he discovered the defendant may be his biological son, so he petitioned the court for a DNA test.
The devil can't win against you. He is your father.
All right.
Yes, yes. I knew it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anything anyone want to say to each other or to the court?
Yes, I'd like to say, Your Honor, not only thank you for this opportunity, but you've given me one of the best gifts, if not the best gift I've ever got in my life. And if you could see your way to helping me to get out to spend a few days with my son, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, you want us to sponsor to help you out to go see your son?
Yes, sir.
All right,
yes, sir.
we'll do that. We'll do that.
All
You
right.
don't.
Thank you so much.
God bless you guys. All right.
God bless you too. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
I knew it, Tim. I knew it.
Yeah, thank you.
I felt it. I mean, it's after the initial shock, after speaking to you, it's almost like listening to a younger version of me. And I have to tell you, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, son.
Plaintiff Marion Morris says after 25 years of marriage and raising her children, she was ready for a fresh start. So she rented an apartment from the defendant. However, she claims the defendant turned out to be a meddling landlord, and she's suing her today for a security deposit. Defendant Jacqueline Beatty says while Marion was living in the apartment, her neighbors complained that they could hear her having sex. Jacqueline denies owing because she claims Marion damaged the apartment and failed to pay rent.
Start with you.
Okay, Judge, after 25 years of living in my house, taking care of my kids, being married and all that, I was ready for a fresh new start. I saw the apartment, I met Miss Beatty, and I fell in love with the apartment. I also have a foundation for young mothers where I do inspirational, motivational training, and I also take them out of the community to see life outside of the community.
Good.
And this foundation is dear to me because
How do you get your funding?
I take donations for right now. I've been in existence for 5 years. And
Taking donations mean a lot of it comes out your pocket if it's not great.
yeah, but I do fundraisers. Like, I do fundraisers.
You put up the money for the fundraiser. No, I'm just giving you credit for being able to do all this without a grant, particularly if it's just an individual who starts something to help others on their own and trying to build in those initial stages. You got to come out your pocket, and for many different things, right?
Yes.
And hope that you'll get some donations.
Yes.
So I'm trying to give you credit for that.
Thank you.
So that shows your heart is in the right place. A lot of people can get a job at an agency that already has money and say, oh, my career is in helping youth. and I take them on field trips. That's a great thing, but you're getting $60,000 for it.
Right.
You got me?
Right.
Versus, I encourage youth, young ladies, inspirational, take them places, and it costs me.
Yes.
Out of my pocket.
Yes.
That's what I was getting to.
These are young moms, so I help celebrate their goals too. It may be because they're from 13 to 21, so their goals range from finishing grammar school, high school, getting to college, you know, whatever their goals is, I help them to celebrate.
Let me interrupt you
their
again,
life.
because we always got to teach folks. When I hear things, I got to stop and give people some insight and wisdom to use for themselves. Now, it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. Go to your pastor if you go to church. Say, I'd like to start a program here on Saturdays to use the room. And then you keep building until you can get an agency. That's exactly what I did. On Saturdays, in the basement of the church surrounding the housing projects I grew up in, I went to that church, said, can I have the use of your basement to have agencies come in and the youth come in to talk with those agencies, and me and some other buddies from college give encouragement. When you finish high school, a lot of people are lost in the inner city. They don't know how to even file for college, certainly financial aid, and don't know where to go. I can't get into college, what do I do? They don't even know there's training programs. They don't know their skilled trades. So you bring it to them.
Yes.
I'm trying to tell you guys how you can help your community one Saturday a month. And you can change some lives. We used to pass out flyers in the neighboring stores, liquor stores in particular, and lottery places. We knew people played lottery. Can we put 50 flyers up here right next to where you give the lottery tickets? And those flyers will be right there. People look, oh, they're helping young people. Let me see how I can help my son, my grandson. And so people, you can do things as simple as that. We did that for like 5 years until we had a good track record, so we were able to get a city grant. Then after getting a city grant, corporations started saying, okay, if the city will give you money, we'll give you money. And then what came next was the county. County gave us money. Then we had a state grant one time. So I'm just telling folks, that's how you do it, and that's what you did. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for your work. You're doing God's work.
Yes.
All right.
Plaintiff Marion Morris is suing her former landlord, who claims while Marion lived in the apartment, neighbors complained that they could hear her having sex.
Go ahead.
So in 2018, like I said, I saw the apartment and I loved the apartment. And I thought that the relationship would be, comfortable, more than just landlord or tenant, but it never got that way.
Why? When you first moved in, what was the problem, you say?
Well, one of the problems was I was out of town one time, and Ms. Beatty came into my apartment, and my daughter happened to be there. And my daughter asked her, did she let me know that she was coming in the apartment? And she told my daughter, no, I didn't. And her...
How old is your daughter?
My daughter is 32.
Oh, I know she's mad. Had a man in there and everything. Walk in there. You out of town? You out of town? She didn't put up. She didn't plan a whole weekend at that house, and then she showed up. I know she was mad, but no, she told your daughter, "I can come anytime I want."
No, she just told my daughter she didn't tell me.
Can I object?
Tell me.
I did not know you were out of town. And it was for the exterminator. So,
not true.
Yes, I came through.
Not true. She knew.
I understand,
we had a
but
discussion.
you should know the law too, and that is that you have to give notice and they have to agree. So, okay, you had a legitimate gripe there, and what next?
Okay, so one time we had another disagreement, and she tells me in the hallway of the building that everybody in the building can hear me having sex. Judge.
They're jealous.
Judge.
So hold on. She said what?
Yes.
Yeah.
She said everybody in the building can hear me having
Knocked
sex.
on my door.
And Judge, I have been raised to respect.
I know, you ain't got to tell me.
Okay.
You ain't got to prove whether it's loud or not.
Okay.
But go ahead. You was about to say, I have been raised not to be loud? Is that what you was going to say?
No, I have been raised not to not disrespect elders. So I wanted to say some things, but I
you
didn't.
interfere with that sleep, you are disrespecting them. You have older people there, ma'am. You have people that go to bed at 10 o'clock, don't you? They live there.
Miss Morris lived across the hall from me, okay? So, but that was not it, because I did not hear it. The neighbors above and the neighbors below. And that's who knocked on my door. Okay, so that's why I knocked on hers.
In 23 years, I believe this is first that you almost get evicted for loud sex. The neighbors come together and have a meeting. Did they have a meeting? Did they have a meeting, or they started an association? You were so bad they started an association. Go ahead, man. Anything else about that? Did she stop? Did things kind of settle down?
I never heard another complaint. Okay? All right. Now, I don't know what she did, but I never heard another
I got
complaint.
some water on that.
But yeah.
All right, so how did you respond when she told you that? What did you say?
I told her I wasn't going to talk to her because I could not tell her the things I wanted
yourself. No.
So I could not talk to her. Okay. So then we fast forward to the pandemic. The pandemic starts.
She got really loud then.
All day.
Yeah.
You know where to go. You couldn't go ahead. You couldn't watch your soap operas. You couldn't watch your stories. That's doing the day now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I lost my job. I couldn't work, and I couldn't pay rent either. But I made sure that I, applied for rental assistance and everything.
How about the stimulus? Did you work at a job where you dealt with the IRS?
My stimulus I had to give to her.
Okay.
I gave to her. Mm-hmm. So we fast forward, and I'm applying for everything. Nothing was moving.
Right.
So she calls me every single day about the rent, every single day. So I'm giving her updates or whatever, and she throw in there every now and then how she can't take this, and she's gonna have to do what she's gonna have to do. And I said, well, you have to do what you have to do because I can't do anything.
Plaintiff Marion Morris is suing her former landlord, who claims while Marion lived in the apartment, neighbors complained that they could hear her having sex.
When did she threaten to evict you because of non-payment? What month?
June.
Okay, and what was anything that was the last time during the pandemic?
No, she did it again 2020, December.
And I'm asking that, ma'am, because there was a moratorium.
Yes, it was. I know it was.
Moratorium on
I know it was.
You couldn't evict people for rent. I'm almost certain. And then after that, see if you can get the real facts. Looks like you're right and nobody has told you good.
It's something else.
You can put the...
There's a label on it, I guess.
I thought you was giving me some information. Sometimes they slide me the facts. You know what this says? Can you put the water bottle on the floor? Heard Joey, the director. Joey, you're going to interrupt the information, the valuable information I'm giving these people about a bottle of water. I done lost my thoughts and everything. You can do it because you got plenty of money. You're an Emmy Award winning director. But I'm trying to tell poor people or people who who lost their income during the pandemic. Forget about that. Just move that bottle. I just show you elitist. I just show you how, and you better not edit this out either. I just show you how an elitist mindset. Whatever. Get that little bitty bottle. Didn't even wait till I finished. Oh. That might have been your fault, though. Unless they said as soon as possible, you should have waited. You're elitist too, with plenty of money.
Yeah.
Make me mad messing with poor people. That's the worst thing you can do with me. Women, people of color, and poor people. Leave them alone. My crowd.
That's right.
You elites.
Elites.
We call you in the
Elites.
neighborhood elites. When we say elites,
That's
we
great.
say elites. Am I right or wrong? Back in the day. But what other things happened after you lost your job in December and up until the time June when she kind of got aggressive with the rent?
Okay, and I also had to go to the doctor for COVID. And I let her know that I was going to the doctor for COVID.
What month? What month?
That was in...
It not been since that vaccine. When was it?
No, it wasn't
Oh.
since the vaccine. It was when the pandemic first started.
Glad it wasn't during the vaccine because I was
No.
about to wear you out.
No,
All right.
it wasn't.
Yes.
Well, she thought it was a joke. She, you think you got COVID now? I said, you think this is a joke? You really think this is a joke that's funny to you?
I hope not.
So, Judge, I mean, I could not take it. Like, walking in that building was very stressful. She come to the door, she looking out the window, all kind of stuff, just too stressful. So in February, I sent her an email to let her know that I was moving out at the end of March.
Okay, and now let me allow her to give all the story that she wants. Now that we got up to why you decided to move. Yes, ma'am.
I met Miss Morris through my real estate agent. I had an apartment for rent. And because of Miss Morris's credit, my agent said, let's just ask for 2 months security deposit instead of 1. And she said, I have faith that you'll make the rent. I said, okay. Everybody needs a chance. No problem. So with that, that's what we did, August 1st, 2018. September 1st, 2018, she wrote me a check that bounced. And it's been
That's
downhill
not true.
ever
That's
since.
not-
That is the truth.
Judge Mathis, that's not true. That is not true.
Ma'am, I hope you brought it with you.
I did not.
Go ahead. Let me hear from you. Continue. So you have no evidence of what you said.
So in 25 years, and I've been where I am for 25 years, I've never had a problem until Marion Morris came along. We did not get along. She's very truthful on that. She used
Why
to,
was the first reason?
that we did not get along.
That's correct.
The check was the first reason that we
Okay,
did not.
got it. All right,
That
that's enough.
we did
If
not
that
get
happened,
along.
that's enough.
That's a lie.
And before COVID, Marion was lackadaisical in paying her rent. Way before COVID ever came
Late
about.
often, is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes, she was late.
She's lying.
I have the
She's
proof.
lying.
So
she would call me on the
No, we're gonna let her talk.
Okay.
And you say you have proof that she was late a couple of times or more than a
Yes, I have.
What page?
If you look on page 8 to 16, so you'll see her little notes to me.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you continue now. I'm convinced that she was late at least a couple of times or a few times.
Plaintiff Marion Morris is suing her former landlord, who claims while Marion lived in the apartment, neighbors complained that they could hear her having sex.
You can resume. What else? Other than being late,
I
what other
have-
problems
yes.
did you have there?
Then COVID happened. And sure enough, she applied to a lot of places. Well, I can't say a lot. Well, 3 that I know of. And I did get paid. Okay. But with that, when you get that money, you cannot charge late fees. You cannot do, there's so much that you can't do to receive this money. Well, I needed rent. I have a mortgage. I needed to pay. Remember now, she had 2 months security deposit. She wrote me and told me that she was moving out, that she would do her own walkthrough, and there will be no
I need
more.
to see that in the letter. What page?
Page 2.
What do you think?
It
Did
says
you
I will
call
do
her
my
and tell
final
her you're not
walkthrough on the
one to
29th.
walk
Okay.
through?
I like that deal.
The apartment will be clean. There will be no damages. This is my final communication till the 29th of March.
I will do the final walkthrough.
So,
Ain't nothing wrong. Go ahead.
so that night, she had the lights, electric turned off, and she knocked on my door and asked me to come walk through. We're in the dark.
Got it.
You can see what you need to see. Like, I'm not going through this. We had never had a good relationship.
What next?
There's
I
no
got
need
you.
of
We
me
know
lying
that.
to you.
We know
Okay? We had never. She also told me when she wanted her security, and there would be no damages. Well, there were.
When
Her-
did you
her
do your
mover
walkthrough?
did
When did you
damages?
do your walkthrough?
I did my walkthrough the next day.
All right. And what damages did you find?
The-
No, you should have a list.
Whew,
Law
I do.
requires you to have a list.
I do. I'm sorry.
An itemized
I do.
list that
Yes,
you should have
on page
presented to
19.
She
her.
did not give me anything.
All right, ma'am. Did you
Nothing
give it
at
to
all.
her?
She had no
Quiet.
communication
Let
with
me
me.
ask
Okay.
her. Did you give her an itemized list?
I did not. I gave her nothing. I did not know where she was. She gave me nothing. She left. Her movers were in a blank car.
What page is your itemized list?
19, page 19.
19. All right. And you moved out when again?
I moved out March 30th.
Okay.
And Your Honor,
All right.
she has my
Hold on,
phone
ma'am.
number.
Hold on. Ma'am, this was printed August 18th. Well, that was, yeah. That's when it says this was printed. When did you put this together? This itemized list, ma'am?
I didn't even know I was being sued.
I know. When did you put the list together, ma'am?
Oh, when did I get the list together?
When did you put together the itemized list of the damages you say she caused to your property?
When I talked to the people here.
Okay. So you never tried to find her because you didn't
I
have
didn't.
a list.
I didn't try to
But the
find
law
her.
requires you to have one.
Okay.
And that's why she's suing you. And she wins. Landlords got to learn the law. Yeah, you all have to learn the law. And that's a problem that I see all the time. You guys don't know the law. And I understand that, but that's your responsibility.
That's very true. I never had a tenant like her before. I never had to learn the law. So it's my fault because I should have known the law.
Yeah.
You're
so I'm
right.
glad you're honest in that way. Thank you for coming. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
You all are good ladies, and I hope there's no animosity here. You've gotten your justice.
Yes.
And as you heard, other than you see, you the one started all that with that old loud sex. That's what started it. This woman was trying to mind her own business. You come in there with all that hollering and yelling. And wonder what happened. All right, 2,400.
Thank you. I'm just glad I'm done with her. She seems, like this nice lady, and it was a nightmare. And I'm just glad I'm over and done with it. I don't even want to look back at the last 2.5 years.
I'm sorry that I ever gave her a chance. She was the worst tenant I've ever had. And all of her Good Samaritan deeds, she never paid her rent on time.